What now?
Now I save the world.
How much do you guys stay faithful to Mark Miller's version, or what's the alteration in this movie?
I think it's pretty close.
Why you always lying?
Wonder Woman is very, very close. That whole storyline is very similar.
Oh my god. Stop fucking lying.
Alright, here's my final thoughts on the Superman Red Sun movie, the animated film based off the Mark Miller graphic novel. And I did a watch party for it. First time ever seeing it, you can watch along with me, and that will be in the description below. But yeah, I don't know what's going on here with DC Animation. As you saw the clip before, Bruce Timm is a producer on this animated film, and I'm a little shocked at how he allowed this to happen. Now, I don't think this Superman Red Sun animated film is as egregious than Batman Hush. I think the essence of the story is pretty much the same. You know, Superman becomes a tyrant, rules over the world in a very Big Brother way. Brainiac turns out to be the villain pulling the strings, just like the graphic novel. Lex Luthor helps Superman defeat Brainiac in the end, just like the graphic novel, even though it's done in a completely different way. And as a standalone movie, if you've never read the graphic novel, you might think this Red Sun animated film is passable. And if we're going to compare it to, Batman Hush, I would say Superman Red Sun is better than that. But if you're a big fan of the book, you're going to be very let down by this Superman Red Sun animated film, because the things that make the book iconic are delivered in a very heavy-handed way in this animated film. The most important being the actual revelation to Superman that Superman is treating the world just like Brainiac did by shrinking a city down into a bottle. That's essentially how Superman is treating the world. And Superman finds out that revelation by looking at a note that Lex Luthor left for him. That says, "Why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman?" And that revelation snaps Superman out of his tyrannical spree. And in the animated movie, they butcher that. They butcher that moment, and they over-explain to Superman why he's becoming like Brainiac. They have the bottled city of Stalingrad, and they're explaining to Superman how he's treating the whole world like this bottled city. And it takes like minutes to actually convince Superman like what he's doing wrong, right? And it takes a lot of explaining, way more so than the book ever did. And, for younger audiences watching this movie, they might need this moment to be explained to them like this. But then again, younger people really aren't watching these animated films. This is a PG-13 film anyway. There's some moments where it probably should be rated R, like when Superman fucking kills Stalin and obliterates him with his heat vision, which I thought was a great addition that wasn't in the book. That's in this animated film. I think that's a great addition. And there's lots of adult themes in this anime movie, a lot of political themes that frankly weren't in the Superman Red Sun graphic novel. And the people that made this movie know that.
Here's the thing. If there had been more of that kind of element in the comic, I definitely would have leaned into it more. But it's not really there in the comic. I mean, the comic is weirdly not really terribly political.
So they thought it was a good idea to make the movie more political, but in the same breath, they're going to over-explain one of the biggest revelations that's ever happened in a Superman book, right? Like they're making this animated movie for children, which is not the case at all. So, based off this very heavy-handed approach they went with the big revelation at the end, that's what's turning me off the movie. I still think a lot of the things in the movie that they changed actually work. Like the gulags that were never in the book. I like that change. I think that adds something to the story. Lana dying also was a nice change, because in the book, her role's really not that big. She's just in a couple panels, and she really doesn't have that big of a role in the book. And in this animated movie, she's the last words Superman hears as he's flying Brainiac's ship off into space. So that was a very touching moment. It gives Superman more of a connection to Lana. They start the movie with Lana saving Superman from bullies, so they definitely give her role more weight in this film. And I think I like that change. I think that's a good change. But there are certain moments in this movie where I think they just went too far with the changes. Like, why is Lex Luthor and Lois Lane so close in this animated film? Why did they want to give them a loving relationship when we know how much of a dickhead Lex Luthor is in the book? That's infinitely more interesting to me, to see this madman, Lex Luthor in the book, neglect his wife. That's more interesting to me than just seeing a loving couple and Lois Lane will stand behind Lex Luthor like no matter what. She has one moment in this animated film where she doesn't like what he does, but then she just comes right back and she loves him anyway. And that's the kind of stuff that I don't really understand why they changed it so much like that, why they felt the need to do that. Because I think the relationship is infinitely more interesting in the book the way it is. And the same thing goes for Wonder Woman and Superman's relationship. In the book, Wonder Woman is friend-zoned by Superman, in a way. Because she loves Superman, she wants to be with him, but Superman doesn't want to be with her. He doesn't even see her as a potential mate, right? And the only reason Wonder Woman is able to break her lasso in the book to save Superman is because she loves Superman that much. That's how she's able to break the lasso. In the animated movie, they do a complete 180 with Wonder Woman's character. She's the one that puts Superman in the friend zone, and she's like a full-blown lesbian in the movie that's super into like feminist politics, and she breaks the lasso in the animated movie because she hates men that much. And I think that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I don't understand what writer thought this was a good idea to change the relationship from the book to this feminist Wonder Woman that you get in the animated film. I don't understand why they made that change. Yes, Wonder Woman is a feminist icon, but she's not a man-hater. That's why she's Wonder Woman. That's why she's the ambassador to man's world, because she's one of the Amazons that doesn't see men as all evil. That's why she's the ambassador. And I don't understand why we have to change that about Wonder Woman. She's a feminist, but she's not the purple hair feminist that we have now. She's more of the lines of a suffragette, where women were just getting the right to vote. That's where Wonder Woman comes from, so I don't really know why that change was made. It really bothers me. It makes it hard to go back to this animated film, because I've watched it again since that stream, and the things that bother me definitely bother me more the second time around. But then again, if this is somebody's first time watching the film, they might not think that much into this until they read the book and they realize how much better the book is. So I really do think that the people making these anime movies are relying on the fact that most people don't read comic books and they haven't read these books. So they feel the need to just change whatever they want, whatever fits whatever narrative they're creating. And as a standalone movie, I think it just works in Red Son. It doesn't work in Batman Hush. The Riddler being Hush in the third act is still one of the dumbest changes and twists that's ever been in a DC animated film. Ever. It's not even close. But there used to be a time where these DC animated films would strive to be as close as possible to the books. If anybody's seen Justice League New Frontier, Darwin Cook, the man who wrote the book, was actually overseeing the animated film in a lot of ways. He was a part of that creative team that made that animated film, and they tried to get as close to the book as possible, keeping the essence of the book and the feel of the book and translating that to an animated film. And that's what they did with that Justice League New Frontier movie. And if you listen to Darwin Cook's commentary on Justice League New Frontier, he really loves that animated film. He thinks a lot of the changes were necessary to make the book fit into an animated film because the book is much longer than the animated film. But once again, the author of the book oversaw all the changes, and Mark Miller had nothing to do with this Red Son animated film. And Bruce Timm was a producer on this film, and he was in favor of changing Lois and Luthor's relationship in the animated film. So I imagine he was also making the changes with Wonder Woman and Superman's relationship. I don't know if Bruce Timm is getting a little power hungry over there. I don't know why he feels the need to completely disregard these legendary books. I don't know what's going on with him. He definitely needs to get his shit together, though, because you had an opportunity with Red Son to put the whole book in animated form, because the book is not that long. So you had an opportunity to make an animated film that was shot for shot, the book, and you chose to make radical changes. Some of them worked really well, some of them didn't work at all, and some of them are almost insulting if you've read the book and you've seen the big revelations in the book and the amazing twist ending, and then you watch this animated film and none of that's there. And it does feel insulting to those of us that have read the book. So, I'm not quite certain about this Red Son animated film. If I was to score it on its own as a standalone story, does it work as its own animated film? And let's just pretend like the book never existed. Does this film work? And yeah, it works as a beginning, middle, and end. It works. The themes are there. The essence of the book is still kind of there. But it really feels like they've dumbed down the story of Red Son to make sure everybody understands the movie. Maybe this is a good thing. Because if you watch this animated film, you might want to go read the book because you'll know that the book is different than the animated film and you'll get a different experience by reading the book. So maybe that is their intention with making these animated films right now. They're making them wildly different so that you have to go read the book to actually understand what's happening. So, as its own standalone thing, I'd probably give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. But as an adaptation of the book, it keeps the essence of the book for the most part, but it just misses the ball when it comes to the important things from the book. It just completely swings and misses. Some swings, they hit it right on the head, like the gulags and, Batman's parents dying in the gulags. That seems like a better motive factor for Batman in this Red Son movie, but other than that, it really does feel like they were just throwing everything up against the wall to see what sticks. And some things did stick, some things not so much. But that's it for now. If you want to see my first reactions to this, go watch the watch party we did for it. The last 30 minutes of that, I'm pretty much like ranting about how it's different from the book and how I can't believe they did what they did. But then again, Red Son is one of my favorite Superman books of all time. Easily top 5. And I was very much looking forward to this anime film, and it did let me down. And it might be a while before I could really watch this movie with a clear head and try to take it as its own thing and not look at it as the book. If you want to actually watch the book, there's a motion comic of Superman Red Son, and it's the whole comic book, word for word, with voice acting, and it's on YouTube, and it's great. A lot like the Watchmen motion comic. It's just fantastic, and I recommend if you don't have time to read the book, definitely watch the motion comic for sure. But that's it for now. Comment below, what did you think of Superman Red Son? I think these DC animated movies have been going downhill ever since The Killing Joke came out, and I will get around to talking about The Killing Joke because after watching these animated films based on DC comic books, I'm starting to look at Killing Joke in a better light, so maybe we'll do a watch party for that, and I'll review that as well. But anyway, that's it for now. Comment below. Let me know what you think of Superman Red Son. If you've read the book, then I probably wouldn't recommend this animated film because it might piss you off. But if you've never read the book, I think I would recommend the animated film. And then you can go read the book, and it'll be like 2 different experiences. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Look, up in the sky!
Get the best you've got.
It's not a direct, literal translation. There are certain things we felt like we needed to change. But a lot of it is just for time, characters that needed to be. But a lot of it is just for time. But a lot of it is just for time.
Brutal should be associated with lying.
Okay.
You're a brutal liar.
So yeah, I think people will watch this, and if they haven't reread the comic in like the last year or two, I think they'll look at it and go, oh yeah, it's a pretty good adaptation.
There's people that love living lies. There's people that actually, the word brutal honesty, I was thinking about that the other day. Like the word brutal honesty is just a dumb term. Like I don't even understand who wants their honesty. Like brutal should be associated with lying.
Okay.
You're a brutal liar.